Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 5 of Enchanted Emerald Isle. This is the first of the neighborhood episodes, so we're working on several of the houses today, not just any of them. We're also going to be working on the area outside of my house, so I'm really excited. You'll see there's a big long stretch of beach that runs across, and Callie's house is down here on the beach in front of it. And then we have Anacottie's house, mine, that you can see is still small, and Frobert, who's here on the end. I've decided to keep my house small for this particular island because I feel like it fits better, and the design of the house is pretty cute and quaint, and there's the ability to make a green roof, so I'm not going to be expanding it any further. I needed to go at least enough to add one room because I needed the storage space. I forgot how small the house storage was when you first start out, but at least from here forward, I am going to try and keep it just as little and as simple and as quaint as it is at the moment. I'm working on the pathing for the beach space because I am going to be putting a flower stall down here. I've decided that my girl for this island is a flower farmer, so she is going to have a flower garden outside of her house, and then down here on the beach is where she keeps the flower stall so that she can sell flowers to all the residents of this very spring, country-inspired island that I've been working on. I'm excited to put together a space that is a little bit personal to the person, the character that I've been playing, but also it's nice to get into the neighborhood areas and put space together for the other villagers too. Just like previous episodes, my first task was to put down this path all across the beach. I've really been enjoying this path, even though it was so much work to design. When I was still putting it together, I thought, oh, this was a mistake. But now that it's done and I'm using it on the island, I've decided it was a really good choice because it is exactly the color and the style that I wanted. So the island feels very personal and very intentional for me. Nonetheless, it was a lot of work to put the path design together. Here, as I'm putting down just spaces for trees, I am putting fencing down, and I'm putting down the basic space here for my girl's garden. I really wanted to do a flower garden that could have a variety of the flowers for the island that I have picked out all in one space, and I wanted the flowers to be close to the beach where I knew I was going to be putting the flower stand, and I just think a flower stand sounds just about as cozy and country and spring as it gets. So it was absolutely a must-have for my island. If you're working on a spring island yourself, I do recommend some type of a flower stall because they are sweet, and there are a lot of good objects in the game that can help us put together a flower stall, including the stall, which you'll see here in a minute when I put down is nice and basic. I am putting down a couple trees early on here because I didn't want to have to crawl back in to put the trees down at the end of the episode, and I had them in my pocket, so that was easy. I was just trying to figure out where to put the opening to the garden. Originally, I was just going to do a one space type of a gate, but because the path went diagonal, I really liked the way that it opened up at a diagonal into the space, and so I decided to keep it that way. And here I'm just working through this back area with the pattern. I'm again trying to fill every single spot on my island as I work because I want this clover to be part of the decoration. I want there to be a very loose amount of stuff everywhere, still full and still interesting, but not completely full. And part of why is because the clover pattern everywhere is part of the decoration. Here you can see I put that stall down just with a basic green, and I'm using the trash can and the workbench in this area because those are objects that I use as I'm building and playing, and because this is my main profile character's her personal flower stall, I thought it would be fun. I am putting the bamboo shelf there, even though it's a different style of plant. it does a really good job of pulling in that shelf with the potted plants that look very intentional. So as long as I put stuff in front of it, I found that it was still really effective towards the flower stall stand in my country style as well, not even though it is a very Japanese bonsai tree style. So it's more versatile of an object than I thought. Here you can see I've gone ahead and collected more of the objects that are going to go down in around this area. I decided to try out a sign and see if that worked, but I didn't love it. I may make a custom pattern and try that out later, but for now I've decided to go ahead and leave the flower stand without a sign. So I'm just determining where the street lamps are going to go. And since I decided the workbench was going to go in the flower stall area, I was trying to figure out how to incorporate it so that it would look sort of smooth and seamless through the area too. Down here I'm just continuing with the street lamps and determining where to put the trees. There are a lot of trees that go in this area with the evergreen and the hardwood as well as palm trees. So I wanted to make sure that this looked a bit as if we were walking through the forest. You'll see there's a lot of space on the cliff right behind my house, and that is also going to be full of trees, tons of trees and flowers. But those aren't in place yet because the tree and flowers on that particular cliff will block my view of the campsite behind it. So I will finish designing the campsite first, and then I will put those trees in place. So even though it's nice and wooded now, and there are a few trees that were up there already, I haven't added what will be the finishing trees yet, and I think that that's okay. My last step was to go and pick up the flowers, and I just think they're precious. I love seeing the pink, green, and yellows mixed together. The white is a good way of showing the color scheme that I put together for the island all in one place, and little flower gardens, of course, are pretty precious, and I love that that's going to be something for me to see every time that I walk out of my house. And then I'm just adding the few extra flowers, and we're ready to see the final area. Here you can see in front of my house with all the trees and the final things put in place. Those green leaf piles do a good job of pulling the path and the grass areas together and make them look very cohesive. Then down onto the beach here, just a couple things by Callie's house so that it looks like it's supposed to be there on purpose. Little bit of a bench and a walkway here under the palm trees where you get to my little girl's flower garden. You'll see where I finally got that bench in place, and I really like the way that the flower stall came together. I hope you guys found something useful here and that you continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.